I really like my new snappy new one. We have 29 members and 31 shares. That's what I think I'm supposed to say. Is that right?
Very good.
Okay.
I'm supposed to report on our aggregate portfolio, which is about $813,000, which gives us a total value of approximately $816,000. And we have 31 members, which brings us a per share value somewhere close to $26,300.
But the guy that put a lot of order, a lot of discipline, if you will, organization into our investment approach has been someone that I'm extremely fond of, and I think he's done a great job, Jim McEnany.
Dick already told you that we've got $813,000, and Tom said that Ray Snow, I think, was going to talk about the investment portfolio, so I don't know what the hell I'm doing today. But on the portfolio that we've got in place, which has a per share value of $26,000, and I'm one of the guys that's got a couple of shares. But we've got, in the portfolio that's in place, we've got a $202,000 gain this year.
The year 2001, the unit value please split would be approximately $51,300. Perhaps the 15th could be celebrated in Europe or even Norway in honor of our founder, Knut Aarsand. If you look at the bylaws of this organization, the club is to be empowered to exist until the year 2025. To continue year by year thereafter. The present value of a share at 14% in 2025 will be approximately $1 million.
And I think it's appropriate for us to toast the gentleman that brought us all together. I want to share with you all how that happened. Knut tried to join a ta-ta club in Baltimore City. His blood wasn't quite blue enough. Joe Jansen's told Knut about this group that included Barney Harvey, who's the managing partner, and Alex Brown, and a very, very prominent group of Baltimoreans. And they said, in essence, we're sorry, but Norwegians we don't like, or something to that effect. So Knut, in his own quiet way, quotes, began to meet with a group of us here in Annapolis. And he founded our club. And I'm going to ask you all right now to join me in saluting a great friend and our founder, Knut Aarsand.
I had to take notes because there's a couple of numbers in this and years in there, but I went through my files this morning at 4 a.m. And so I'm going to give you a little chronology of the club since its beginning. And it was the summer of '86 that Joe Jansen told me I couldn't get into his old line Maryland club. So I decided to form one that he couldn't get into. Now I needed a little bit of credibility, so I enlisted Rudy, who had an air of distinction, to help me. And we went out among our community and talked to some of the others. And it was about August of '86 that we accumulated 16 hardcore Annapolitan members and one Baltimore member for about $10,000 each. So we started investing, and I guess we were pretty impatient. Even though the share value grew to $13,000 in 4 months, we decided to really go for it. And we took Paul Sinclair-Grana's recommendation. and we bought into a syndication that was guaranteed. We bought stock at a 50% discount. Advanced monitoring system. Meanwhile, one of our other members, Sam Sardinia, was sinking millions of dollars into his new ferry boat. And we plan to have the annual meeting aboard the SS Sardinia. The ferry boat was 200 feet long, and with 3 decks, it had over 20,000 square feet of luxurious space, hot tubs, swimming pools, palm trees, the whole works. It was towed by a 100-foot-long tugboat, and Sam's personal yacht was 73 feet long, built over 70 years ago. And that yacht was going to bring us all from the CEO dinner with our wives out to the ferry boat anchored several miles out in grand luxury. The afternoon of the party of the annual meeting of the CEO Club, the ferry and the tugboat arrived out at sea, and I went out to meet it in my little powerboat. Sam was laying in bed, and he said, "I can't do this. Cancel the meeting," which was going to occur in 2 hours. The generating system is broken down, and this ferry boat had 500 electrical outlets, if you can imagine. Discotheques, hot water heaters, showers, saunas, gymnasiums, everything you can imagine, and nothing worked. 2 hours before all of you were supposed to go out there. So Sam was laying in bed, and he looked up at me in total desperation, and he had been traveling all night, towing that ferry boat up from some island far south of here on a 600-foot-long hawser. And the tugboat pulled this ferry boat, and the ferry boat went from one side of the Chesapeake to the other, mowing down everything in its path. To get up here. So with 2 hours left before all of you ladies came down in your gowns and the guys in the tux, I managed to get that generator fixed, and I also commandeered another yacht out here. And when everybody arrived here at the Annapolis Yacht Club to be transported out to the ferry boat, it was marvelous. Wow. Harry Weissel.
Harry was coming up the gangplank with Susan Rocks and me. He looked back at us and said, "You believe this shit?" Why not Harry Weissel?
It was Hollywood. It was Hollywood. 6 months and a day later, practically, the Dow cranched 500 points on Black Monday. A couple of days later, we all met at the Maryland Club. And a motion was passed suspending all buying of stocks for 6 months, or weeks rather. And our share value had now gone from 13,000 back down to 9. But despite that, in January, the next year, January '88, we used to have a Dow Jones Industrial Average pool, and Bob Sabelhouse won that pool that year because he predicted the highest increase of the Dow Jones Industrial Average among all of us, and so he won the pool, and we started getting bullish again. And Russ Rourke stood up and made a great presentation of a company called Autotech, despite which we still allowed it in the club. The next annual meeting was held at Sam's new supper club on the Severn River, because the ferry boat was forced out of town by irate neighbors. The share value had gone back to $10,000, and during that meeting, Paul Cinquegrana explained why advanced monitoring systems wasn't doing so well.
Still searching for the cracks.
Tom Moore summed up the club's performance after 2 years on that evening. And I quote, "We are ahead in value per share, had some good parties, and made some good friends. But then an electrical storm came along, blew out all the power, and we wound up eating the rest of the dinner by candlelight." In January of 1989, Matt became the new chairman. As usual, he sputtered a bit, but then he gracefully accepted. And it was his Irish luck that I feel was the impetus for the beginning of the greatest bull market in history, Matt. It was you. 3 months later, the value of our shares went to $14,000, despite advanced monitoring systems. And we began planning a trip to Miami to visit Sam at his new jockey club.
And look for a boat.
Tom Moore now is a big spender, and he suggested we distribute $1,000 apiece so the girls could have some spending and shopping money. The motion was not carried. Rudy became our chairman in 1991. The value was $13,500. And he wrote in a letter to us, quote, "The real reason we had done well is that Matt selected good stocks, and that he was able to control the Norwegians' desire to spend all on dinner parties. And he was planning the next dinner at Chicken Roost."
Tom would when everybody has half sandwich.
On January of 1992, the club had its second crisis, Black Monday being the first. Tom Moore had calculated in 3 years we spent $23,000 in food and booze. and that after expenses, we had underperformed the Dow by over 10% over 5 years. Ladies, for a while it looked like beer and peanuts. But Dick Caruso took the helm in October of '92, and within 6 months we had gained to $17,600.
Whoa!
By unanimous consent, our party funds were reestablished. And Ray said this earlier, but I do want to reiterate it. On September of '94, Tom Moore was elected chairman. And being a banker and goal-oriented and performance-oriented, he set a goal of 14% per year, which would make the market value $26,700 by tonight. What is it?
966.
Unbelievable.
Tomorrow it'll be 25.
Maybe.
Because it kills
let me know if we have to get back to beer. It's on for you. Thanks a lot, everybody.
If I may, I'd like to speak for a missing member tonight, Bob Carlucci, and he's very saddened by the fact that he had to be away trying to make a few bucks in California for Taco Bell and pizza and Taco Bell and Kentucky Fried Chicken. And he and Ron, are partners in a company called R&R Ventures, and they flipped the coin, and Carlucci had to go to California. So he asked me to make a toast to Knut. He says, is the only Italian he knows that's been disguised as a Norwegian.
You said me, darling, you.